Hello, beautiful people. Welcome, you adventurous souls, to my Facebook teaching live all about the top 9 mistakes that I see otherwise amazing kiteboarders sometimes making when we do Facebook Live. No, when we do kiteboarding travel. So this is definitely not to say that I am a perfect traveler, but I am an expert. I started kiteboarding traveling full-time back in 2002. So that's a lot of trips, and I've made a heck of a lot of mistakes. So this is all about me applying what I've learned and teaching you. So let's get straight into it, shall we? So the number one mistake that kiteboarders make for their travel adventures is they leave a kite at home. This is definitely one of the biggest mistakes that the kiteboarders make, is that they don't take all their kites. You know, people will come to or email me coming to Cabaretty and they'll say, Laurel, what sizes should I bring? The answer is all of them. So welcome to all of the people who are joining my Facebook Live. So great to have you here. The number one mistake we see people making is leaving one of their kites at home. If you have big kites, bring them. If you have small kites, bring them. Bring all of your kites on your kiteboarding trip adventures. So the number 2 mistake that I see, not all the time, but pretty often enough to mention it, is that when you're traveling for kiteboard travel, you want to take your twin tip board and get the fins off of the board. Now, you don't necessarily have to have it be like mine is right now, totally naked without the pads and straps on there, but definitely always, always, always don't leave the fins on, because they will break, number 1, and number 2, they will break your board bag. So this is bad. Fins are expensive, $75, $100 for a set. They only really are sold in sets of 4. You don't want to carry around a lot of extra fins, so it's really good. Make sure when you're packing your board bag, take those fins off. Don't do that. And then just a little side story I wanted to tell you guys. From when I very first started doing kiteboarding adventure travel, it was 2002. I was at the Red Bull Skyride event in Tarifa. And now my hero in kiteboarding at that time was Flash Austin. Maybe some of you have been kiteboarding long enough to remember Flash Austin. But so here I am. I pulled my board out of the bag, and Flash is like right there, and I'm standing next to him, and I'm putting the fins on, and we're chatting. I'm like trying to play it cool, and all of a sudden he looks over and he says, Laurel, are those fins on backwards? So that was embarrassing, but I got over it. So number 2 tip is don't put your fins on backwards. When you do take them off, put them back on. All right, let's keep going. So the number 3 thing that I see people doing when they're traveling for kiteboard travel, and this happens a lot coming into Cabaretty, is people do not protect their boards, especially the surfboards, okay? So these things are much, much, much more fragile. You really want to protect, especially the rails and especially the nose. So a couple of little things that you can do if you're going into a place where you need like a wetsuit, like even in Cabaretty, sometimes I use my little wetsuit here, just for extra layers, even though it's not really, really cold. You can just use your wetsuit to protect the nose of your board, especially. Just before you put it in, you're just going to, throw that on there. It's a little bit of extra layers. Sometimes I even put foam around the rails. And then the other tip that I really recommend for when you're packing the board is hold on 1 second. Got to get this on my shoe. Okay, so on the tail of the board, really what you want to do is in your bag, put your harness back up there for you for a second. You'll put your harness in the board bag. You've got to imagine that I'm in the board bag. Put your harness in the board bag and then your board in there, and that just gives you a little bit of extra protection for your tail of your board. You definitely do not want to arrive at your destination with your boards damaged. So fins off, and surfboards especially protected. The twin tip boards are really sturdy, so you don't need them as protected. But if you're doing kite surfing and surf travel, you'll definitely want to protect your board. So let's put that one back, nice and safe, back there, don't fall. Okay, So yeah, maybe you're having fun watching this video. Thank you for seeing. And Tiffany, I can see that you can't see the video. I hope that it is working for you. Yeah, maybe if you can't see it now, it will be up later. But yeah, if you can see it and you do like it, then this is a perfect time to share the video with one of your kite surfing girlfriends. So thanks for doing that. Okay, the number 4 mistake I see people making when they travel is that they get really stressed out about the baggage fees for the airlines. So you definitely just want to put this into the budget. You know, when you're flying with a huge bag, you may have to pay for it, and you may have to pay up to $100, and that's not great. There are some ways to get around it, and I'm actually going to talk a lot more about that in next week's Facebook Live. But for now, the number one thing that I see is if you're going to travel with your kiteboarding gear, just totally accept that you may have to pay a little bit more. Don't stress out about it. Whatever you have to pay to get your bag to the destination, it's totally going to be worth it when you're kite surfing in a new spot or maybe one of your old favorite spots, and you get that feeling. Any money you spend is going to be worth it. So don't put extra stress on yourselves by feeling nervous that, oh, I'm going to have to pay, I'm going to have to pay. Maybe you're going to have to pay. So what? All right. An easy one in theory, but a hard one in practice. And I struggle with this even as a minimalist, even with, 15 years of kiteboarding travel experience. I see a lot of people when we go on, group trips, they pack too many clothes. Okay, you do not need a lot of clothes on a kiteboarding adventure. Now, it's one thing if, like Bonnie Farmer, she was going, last year she went on our sailing trip, and then she went before that on a trip to see some nuns, and then after that she went to a birthday party at Sundance, and so she had to put a lot of things. But if you're just going kiteboarding, don't put a lot of clothes in your bag. Couple t-shirts, couple tank tops, one layer, pair of pants, pair of flip-flops, done. We don't care if you wear the same thing every day. And Tiffany, I see you commenting that your screen is just showing a picture, and I'm so sorry about that. Hopefully you're going to get that sorted. I wish I knew how to help you, but I'm a total beginner on Facebook Live. So hopefully the video is recording, and if some of you are watching and seeing a video, send me a little message, write a little comment. Send me hearts and loves. I like it when people do that on the video also. If you press like, then I get to see it, or press a heart, then I get to see it. Okay. Number 6 thing that people do that really they shouldn't when they're going on a kiteboarding adventure travel is not following a packing list. Now, I am obsessed with packing lists. I have like one for every scenario, and I'm going to share my packing lists with you guys for snow kiting and beach travel. I'll put a link down in the comment section of this video. So if you don't use a list, there's a good chance that you might forget something. And that would be terrible, because maybe you're going to somewhere where there's nothing, like on a boat in the Bahamas or up into Alaska where, you're up in the mountains, out in the backcountry. So you really want to have your list, and you don't have to make your own. I'll share mine with you, and then you can use that. And Jeanette, thanks for telling me that you see me. I wish I could see you on the beach in Baja very soon for kite surfing. Oh, Jane, good to have you here. Thank you so much. I've got your questions coming up at the end. So follow your list. And what should be on that list? Repair gear. Now, we had a great thread in our women's kiteboarding community really early on asking what people should put in their repair gear kits. And I still have pending on my list of things to do to make that into an article for you ladies. So in the meantime, definitely the repair kit that comes with your kite, screwdriver and some tear aid is really good to have, and kite line. Kite line is amazing. Just ask Marisha Chilcott what we can do with kite line on kiteboarding trips. You definitely want some of that. So yeah, make sure you have at least a few repair bits and pieces. I always like to also have a first aid kit, even if I am going to a place with an emergency clinic nearby. First aid kit is really good. Hi, Julie. Good to see you. Thank you so much for your kind words. All right, 2 more to go, girls, and then we can chat more about my traveling adventures and some other fun things we've got going on. The worst thing that I think you can do is it the worst? I don't know. It's bad. Is make your bag more than 50 pounds. So I know we're strong for sure, but let's not hurt our backs, number one. Like we're already flying somewhere or driving a long distance. Like really pay attention to the weight of your bag. Like 50 pounds is probably the limit. And so, you know, it also will help when you're checking in at the airline. You know, you already have your big bag and you're maybe trying to not pay over baggage fees. So if it's less than 50 pounds, it definitely makes a difference for your wallet and for your spine. So don't make your bag too heavy. You know, use good lifting techniques, get your friends to help you, or better yet, porters to help you, and that should be good. And then the last thing that I wanted to give you all a tip as to what you're going to do when you're on kiteboarding adventure travels is to go to the wrong place at the wrong time. Now, I'm not talking about like walking down a dark alley or a deserted beach. I'm talking about, you know, booking the legendary epic trip to Brazil or Cabarete or Vietnam or any of our really fun places, and then getting there and realizing it's the totally wrong season to be here. There's no wind. I really should have double checked this. I saw an article, they said, oh, it was good at this season, but I didn't actually email somebody who I can trust who's there, maybe from the map of, you know, women-owned kiteboarding businesses, or I didn't post on our community, like, hey, is this an okay time to go there? So if you're flying somewhere or driving far, before you book that ticket, get confirmation. Don't trust the internet. Okay, do not trust just an article or like one of those websites that are great that says go to this place at this time. If you want waves, you know, go here. They can be wrong. So double check and confirm that you are going to the right place at the right time. That's it. All right. Well, I want to hear from you ladies in the comments section for sure. Some of the, you know, funny things that have happened to you, like maybe you've made a mistake in your kiteboarding travel and I didn't cover it. And you're like, wait, what about this? So we can learn from you. Our group is so amazing for getting knowledge and learning from each other. So add all of your comments there. A couple of comments that came in when I posted about this Facebook Live yesterday. One was from Jane, who's here with us today. And I think that she's definitely a good candidate for becoming a kiteboarding digital nomad, or maybe working, you know, just a few hours in a month, or, you know, batching it together and then going out. And so I had posted a picture of my awesome truck, Pete and I's truck that we share, and our trailer that we got for Burning Man. And Jane wanted to know, what do we do with our vehicle when we're not here? Well, we're really lucky to have super supportive and amazing parents. So we park it at our parents' house and they're totally cool with it, and it's awesome. Now, one other thing that we've done in the past, like when we went to Mexico this winter, we left it at the airport for long-term parking in like a storage facility, not at the airport parking, but we just found like a long-term storage that was covered and dry. And, you know, that was definitely a little bit more expensive. I think it was like $150 for the 6 weeks. But yeah, try to tap into your network of family and friends, and maybe one of them has a spare parking spot where they will let you park your vehicle. And then for our driver's license, we basically, well, so I moved overseas in 1998, and since that time, I've been using my mom's address in Montana as my like legal address every time that I file my taxes, or for my driver's license, or for voting. I'm, you know, registered in Montana. And I think there's a lot of women here who live most of the year in Baja, or all of the year in Baja, but are still like Americans and have driver's license from the US. And some of them can chime in and maybe tell us more about how they do it. I know a lot of the Baja vehicles are registered in South Dakota. I'm not sure if they have South Dakota license plates as well as driver's license, but something to look into. So it's super fun. And there are some logistics with being a full-time nomad on the road, but I highly recommend it. Now, Tanya was asking, what about being a nomad with children? Now, you may have noticed that this weekend I was with my sister and her two cute kids. How do people do it with kids? I don't know, because those kids are energetic, and they definitely add a layer of complexity to any day, let alone being nomadic. But for sure, people do it. Maybe they do it for a limited amount of time. Say, let's try this for 6 months. That maybe takes some of the pressure off. I'm thinking out loud here. I'm hoping that there'll be some people from our community who are nomadic and also parenting. So maybe they can chime in about that. So that was it. Yeah, this is awesome. Okay, Leah, I totally hear you. Packing anxiety is a real thing. There will be therapy afterwards. You can just call me and say, Laurel, what do I pack? This is my list. No, but seriously, I'm going to share my list with you all. And I think that, having the list really helps. And yeah, it's going to be great. Just make sure you take your fins off of your board and protect your surfboard. And so that's it. Okay, girls, we are going to wrap it up with your calls to action, the things that I want you to do. Tune in. Keep tuning into my Facebook Lives. Next week, I'm going to be actually teaching you more about all the amazing secrets and tips for traveling. So I'm going to do 2 sequences in the kiteboarding travel teaching. And so I will be back with more. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's not very good yet, but it's going to get good. And there are some cute videos on there, including one that I shot with my nieces showing off our women's kiteboarding KB for Girls Lycras. So go to YouTube, KB for Girls TV. That's the name of our channel right now. So subscribe. And the last thing I just wanted to mention before I sign off and get back to work is the logo contest. We have had such an amazing response from all of you for our logo contest that Aaliyah Faucheron, my amazing co-board member, is helping me run. And we had great feedback, including some very, very powerful feedback in private message from the professional designers in our group. And so we are taking all of that feedback into our minds, and Aaliyah and I are actually going to do a call right after this video finishes where we're going to talk about the next steps for the logo. It has been a huge learning curve. I'm a complete beginner for branding, for logos, even though I have my own brands. The logo for LEK came off of a necklace that I had, and I just kind of like traced it over it, and that's been the same logo for 15 years. So rebranding and getting this community, up to speed. We had a lot of confusion with the name KB for Girls. People thought that we were serving children. And we actually realized, no, we're, 35 to 55 to plus years old. And so women is maybe a little bit more descriptive than girls. So that's what prompted the rebranding of the KB for Girls Foundation to the Women's Kiteboarding Collective. It is not easy. It is not smooth. There are tons of hiccups. It's so confusing. But thank you all for hanging in there and being part of this and making it happen. Because really, without you, all of you who are watching this video and giving me comments and liking and all of it, you're the ones that are making me motivated to continue working on women's kiteboarding. So I appreciate it. Have a great day, ladies, and we will be back next week, and we'll see you here on the Facebook group. Send me all your packing questions. Leah, you can always send me your list. Okay, love you guys. Big kisses. Bye.